Life's a funny thing. Some of us are dealt some pretty cruddy cards, and then we're expected to just grow up, normal. That leaves a lot of us to struggle as we navigate through life's difficult times. And if you're anything like me, you have no idea what the hell normal is. Welcome to the Wishbone Podcast with me, your host, Luca Ohana, as we discuss and share our life stories in hopes of helping each other out. So if you got 30 minutes, let's talk about it. Without structure, I'm like, I don't even know what to do. Where do I put my hands?
Yeah.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Wishbone Podcast. Do that again. Oh my gosh.
You didn't like that one?
I did, and then at the very end, I'm like, sucked. Boo. Okay.
Okay. Keep all of that in there, and just redo it. Keep all of that second one in there. Okay, that was great.
Okay, good. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Wishbone Podcast. This is Luca, and today we got a really cool episode. We're going to be interviewing my best bud, Brynan, also known as the Aquaman or the Natural, and we'll get into it.
What's up?
I don't know if you introduced yourself. There you go. I have no idea. So last week's Gray Matters question is, what is family? And I'm very curious to kind of hear your thoughts of it. I do think you and I share very similar thoughts on this, but yeah, I want you to go first if that's okay.
Okay. That's actually a great question. And what I would have said before is just like, oh, my mom, my dad, my brothers, because I'm supposed to say that. But at this point, like, I've been meeting new people through work, even just outside of work, and even my neighbors. Like, if I share any kind of communication with them that's positive, if I feel like I care about them and there's an equal care from them to me, we just gotta have this unspoken, relationship where if somebody's in trouble, we probably got their back. Especially these old guys down the street. Like, I'm all about calling them uncles or family at all. It's like, it's that simple for me at this point. I'm so open to creating new relationships at this point in my life. It's my favorite thing. So I would call anybody that I just have some kind of positive connection with family at this point.
For real. I like that. Yeah.
I love it.
I like that a lot. What was it like when you first moved from Hawaii to where you are now, and you were calling people auntie and uncle? Did they just eat it up, or?
Oh, I haven't done that yet.
Oh, okay, I got you. Okay.
Yeah, no, not yet. I don't think I will, because these guys just, there's that disconnect that would just be super confusing to them.
Yeah, I was wondering if it was like, what did you just call me? So did you just say sir or ma'am or just whatever?
Yeah, a lot of sir, a lot of miss.
I got you.
Yeah.
Nice. Okay. Yeah. No, I agree with you. I think that's a very good thing. Obviously, you're born with family, but I think the beauty of this life is that you can choose who actually is in your inner circle and who's not.
Yeah.
At least you should be able to. So, I mean, we kind of have a funny way. Actually, we'll just lead into it, but we have a funny way of how we met. And I talked about it in the last episode, but I do think it's hilarious how we started out like stepbrothers, and then in that same real time, it's like, what just happened? Did we just become best friends? Yup.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was pretty. I would love it if you told your side. And then
okay, so my memory of it, there's not probably as much as what you have, but I just remember I heard this new guy's coming into the food court. He comes in. I'm like, oh, fucking great. I'm making pizzas. And he comes up to me, you come up to me and you ask me like a question. You're probably asking me a pretty important question. You might have been on the registers helping somebody out, and you're like, hey, I need this, like, where do I get it? And I just remember looking up for my pepperoni pizza at you, like, I'm a fucking retard. Like, I don't know what exactly I was thinking, but it wasn't good, and you just kind of were like, all right, jerk, like, walked away. And then I ended up in the bakery, and I found out that you were in there. I didn't know you were in there, but I was like, great. I was an asshole to this guy. He probably 100% thinks I'm an asshole, so I kind of have to stick with it. I'm just gonna be an asshole. And so I don't know how long I was in there until I finally talked to you, but there came a time where it was just you and me inside the department together, and it was quiet, and you were baking, and I was wrapping some bagels or something, and I had to swallow my pride and just be like, okay, just stop being an asshole. It's not that big of a deal. And I looked at you and said, so what do you do outside of work? And I don't remember if your face was surprised or what, but you looked at me and hesitated for a second. You go, "Oh, I fish, go hunting, spearfish." And that's when I was like, "Wait a minute, you spearfish?" And you're like, "Yeah." I said, "You go by yourself?" Yeah. I said, "You want? I go by myself too. Should we go together?" And you're like, "Yeah." Okay.
What just happened?
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
so
And
funny.
then, yeah, I don't remember anything after that, but boy, until our first dive trip, it was awesome, incredible. I still remember the fish
Oh
that I shot,
man.
how I shot them. And I remember you just
Yeah.
like we were sticking together. It was awesome.
Yeah, and it's not to love you more than I already do, but it was from that second on that it was like the best diving trips, the best hunting trips.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
I mean, it was incredible. Yeah, it was
Everything was
very good.
so new and fresh, and like I'd never done this before in the
Beautiful.
first place.
Yeah,
And you seemed like you had my back, and it was awesome.
yeah,
I
yeah,
felt like a little bird that
yeah,
could finally flap my wings and leave the nest.
yeah. Whatever walls was up for me after that discussion, they definitely were gone. Because I do remember being like, "Oh my gosh, this guy's coming to the bakery. This is gonna be like a pain in the ass."
Mm.
Which is funny. But what's even more funny, in my opinion, is the same interaction happened with your wife, Felicia,
Oh, I didn't
who I
know
love to
that.
death. By the way, yeah, she has her own blog channel. You guys should check out. I'll make sure to put in the show notes. Um,
Okay.
yeah, so the first time I came in, I opened the door and she was behind the counter making pizzas, and she looked at me and I was like, "Hey," and she gave me this like up and down look. And then
Ugh.
kind of rolled her eyes, and I was like, "Oh, she's
Yeah.
a bitch."
She
And
did the
then
same thing to me.
oh, dude, but I love her. Like she's my sister. I can't get enough of that lady. You guys, it's so funny how we started out that way. And
Yeah.
I think you and I both
That's our
struggled
problem.
with. Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I think you and I have or had whatever a chip on our shoulder or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Mainly with other men or males. I don't even consider
Oh
myself
yeah.
a man still, but
100%.
with other males, you know. But yeah,
Yeah.
that is funny.
I only have one
Yeah,
more
we definitely go
relationship like
diving.
that at work right now, but
Who's that?
everybody else is like, oh, just this
What's his
guy
name?
that like I don't even know his name, but he's like he looks like he wants to be like a Chad. You know, he's walking around like this, and every time he looks at me, he's like that, and I'm just like,
So
I'm gonna destroy him. But everybody else, like, there was about four people that walked into the break room yesterday, and I'm like, hey, what's up, motherfucker? And he's like watching me do this. Like, maybe he thought that I was an
he's probably
asshole this whole
whatever.
time. Yeah, and I don't know. So I gotta tear down because maybe he's my next Luca. Who knows?
Bullshit. Just kidding.
Yeah. One of a kind, motherfucker.
Oh man. No, you know what's funny is I think we just complimented each other quite a bit. We'll get into some of the details here, but like we've come close to death a few times being in each other's stewardship for sure. Like I don't know if we're the best babysitters, but they make
No,
good
no.
stories.
Oh yeah,
Like
yeah,
there were
yeah.
so many times where you gave me that what I call the bee head shake, and that was like end all. Don't even discuss it.
Yeah.
Get out of there. Yeah. Do you remember that first time you gave me that head shake?
Was it where's that West Side Beach? Oh man. Where's the West Side Beach
I don't
where it's
know.
like Salt Pond? Was it
Oh,
Salt Pond?
oh, salt pond. Oh, maybe. Ah,
Was
I
it Salt
forgot
Pond?
we dove
We
salt
first
pond.
we went off we were kind of just going straight out on the right side, and then you were like, look at that break over there. We should go right next to
Oh,
that
yeah.
break.
It
And I
sounds
was
like me.
like, and I'm pretty fresh in it still, and I'm like, oh, okay. Like, yeah, let's go do that. And then as we're getting closer and closer, the waves are starting to go over us. I'm like, okay, yeah, we're gonna fucking die now. Well, I had no idea though. Like, I'm sure we would have been fine at that point, but I was like, nah, we're gonna. So that's what I told you, and I'm pretty sure you were like a little upset about it, but it's okay.
I don't remember, so I don't think so. But I do remember the time that we went to the left side of Pilar. and
Oh,
we made
that's
it
right.
like
That's the first time we
five
almost died.
seconds in, and then we got hit that huge rip current. And then I look at you,
Yeah.
and you're just like, I mean, we were kicking so hard. It took us 5 seconds to get out, and what, 35 minutes to get back.
Yeah, it was a
We were just
little over a
fighting the
half
whole
hour.
time. Oh my gosh.
It was I just remember it was about 15, maybe, yeah, 15 feet deep. There was no reef to grab onto on the bottom. It was all just
Oh
flat
yeah,
and broken coral all over
yeah.
the place. And so I'm like, I can't even grab onto anything to pull myself forward. So I was like, okay, I'll shoot my spear gun and try and hook it
Oh,
onto something like a grappling hook. And it didn't work. So now I'm like trying to put my spear gun together and kick back into shore at the same time, just in case I can use that
oh
idea
man.
again. So stupid.
No, I thought. I mean, that's a good idea because that was so exhausting. I remember us crawling out on our hands and knees and being totally exhausted.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was
The second we
unreal.
got in there, or as I was waiting for you to get
Oh
your stuff on, I remember like
yeah,
the reef, it was super nice, about 10 feet out. And then right past that, it
yeah.
was bare. Yeah, it was death. We were gonna die.
Huge rip. Yeah, and we never went back. Right? We always went to the right after that.
Always. Yeah. Yeah, we
I
got
don't
so
think we
close
went
to that
back.
surf.
Yeah, that was gnarly. That was so crazy. I know after we talked about like just having it shoot us out, but I mean, in theory it worked, but because it was so close to that, further to the right, there's that canal or that channel.
Hmm. Hmm.
Like that's so sharky, dude. Like I think if we got kicked out, it would have been pretty gnarly. Not saying anything would
Shark
have happened,
Central?
but yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
it would have been. Actually, that's the same beach we saw our first shark together. We should talk about that.
Oh,
We're just going to
all the way
reminisce for
down to the
quite a
right?
bit.
Yeah, that's right. We crossed the canal over there, didn't we?
Yeah,
Yeah.
crossed it, and then you shot a Roy, and it had
And it
swum
was in
underneath
that
that
big
table.
mushroom floral, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. It was, and I always remember it as a funny thing, but yeah, maybe you tell the story
I just
as
remember
you
shooting the
remember
Roy.
it.
It took my shaft up into the middle of it
Yeah,
of this big mushroom piece of coral. I mean, huge. Like
yeah.
and we couldn't find a way to pull him out. He was deep up in there. And so we were at the top of the coral trying to break
Hmm.
everything around like where we thought he was so we can pull him out that way. And then I don't remember if I spotted him or you spotted him, but a shark was like circling around, coming in and out.
It was a
And I was like,
big white
okay,
tip too.
yeah. I was like, okay, so I don't have my spear gun. I don't really have my shaft to poke him with. I guess I'll just take my knife out and chase him. So, so yeah, we were just chasing this little white tip around with a knife while we got this
With a,
Roy out.
yeah,
That's how I remember it. Yeah.
that sounds like some down under shit. Some freaking Australian over
Yeah.
the weekend, everyday Friday stuff. But yeah, I remember we were going underneath the table, each taking turns trying to find a way out of the maze, and it was like my second or third time down. You tapped me on my shoulder, and I was like, "Man,
Mm.
just like, give me a second." And then you tap me again, but he's tapping me like it's an emergency, like there's a shark or something. And finally, I come up and I'm like, "What?" You're like, "It's a shark." I'm like, "Oh shit, yeah, it's a shark." My bad. Yeah,
Oh
that place was
man.
so crazy. That no, we were at a Nini when we rescued the shark too.
That's right. Yeah, he had
Yeah, that was a good
swallowed. What do you think he even swallowed?
hooks. Dude, they
Hooks.
baited hooks is what I thought happened. Yeah, and
Oh,
like
okay.
just a rope full of hooks. And
Yeah. Yeah, that was a
why I
cool
don't know. That
story.
seemed illegal though. I know. I still think we have video of it somewhere. I think. Well, I don't know. I don't know. But I think we
You
do have
put one
video of it
out on
somewhere.
YouTube, I thought.
And then I'll have to go through. If it is, I'll put it somewhere
Yeah. Yeah, it
on the
was a good one.
podcast. But it was. I mean, we had to pull the shark out of the hole and kind of cut the rope as close to its mouth, and then we were able. It sunk back down the hole, so we had to pull it out again and kind
Yeah,
of push it forward out of the hole.
that's
But
right.
yeah, that Anini has a ton of white tips because I remember you went diving once and spooked one that was like six
Oh
inches
yeah,
from you.
underneath a pretty deep shelf. I remember that.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know.
We should talk about why you're called the Aquaman or the natural. Just because, man. Yeah, to give some context to kind of how our friendship that started these names, I guess. If I can think of it, think of the words. But
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, we were working out.
Let me hear
Like
your
when we
story
first
about
met,
me.
we were spiffy. On the natural or the Aquaman?
The Aquaman. I want to hear it.
Okay, so Aquaman, just because you took to water like a fish. Like I have a hard time diving. I have to do all these freaking things to clear my ears.
Right.
But you, it just seemed like you had it. Like there's times where we had to defend against a catch against other sharks, and you just were able to maintain the entire time. I don't know. And the only thing that I know of that you don't like to do is touch lobsters. That's the only thing that I know of.
I don't.
Everything else you're
Yeah.
game for.
They're the worst, man. I hate
Oh,
those
I love it.
freaking
Yeah.
things.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the
when was
sound
it?
of
It was like
everything.
a West Side dive over at the wall where you were showing me all those lobster spots. Is when I
Oh yeah.
finally admitted to you that I do not like touching lobsters. It scares the shit out of me. And you were like,
Yeah, that blew me
wait a minute,
away.
wait a minute, what? I was like, yeah, that's why I
Yeah, because
never got lobster before when we would find them. I would always just act like, oh, whoops, he got away from me.
I ain't touching that. That's so funny.
It's like fucking not crabs, but cockroaches, man. So gross.
Yeah, plus that sound they make, and you can almost feel the vibration they're making when they crank their tail like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, dude.
I will say this though, besides Mike, honestly, I don't dive with anybody now. I just don't trust anybody because the sharks incidents was pretty nuts. We had our manta ray encounters, which was incredible and magic,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
our ulua and all that. But I don't know, man. Sharks are no like the one shark that followed us in right into shore. That was gnarly.
That's right. She was a big one.
She was. Okay, we'll tell that story because I don't want the viewers to be without context. But where were we? We were doing a drift dive from the point, I think, all the way to Brennan
It wasn't a drift. It wasn't a drift.
Oh, it wasn't a drift.
Oh, you mean that one? So the one where it was out in front of Poipu, from oh man, why can't I remember these names anymore? Brennickys? No, not Brennickys. Where the launch is.
I think we came
Where's
in
the
at
boat
Brennan.
launch?
I don't know. I think we call it the point. I thought, but where the hotel is.
Yeah, you swim
Or
all the way out.
are we talking about the Rainbow Runner one, right? Are we talking about the Kamanu one?
Oh, yeah. Well, okay. So we'll think. Yeah, so that was a drift dive from
Okay.
from
Shipwrecks, yeah.
to Brennickys. Yeah, that one wasn't
Yeah.
too big. That was a real young shark. Feisty.
Yeah, but she would. Yeah, feisty. Like we swam for what 2.5 hours defending your Rainbow Runner for a long
It
time.
was a little while. Yeah.
Yeah.
It seemed like
And
forever.
then I got frustrated, and I like every time she came in, was holding on to the fish, and you were running defense, and I slapped the water, and that was a bad idea. Like she turned right around and like honed in on him, like, oh, that's a big note, don't do that. But yeah, then she'd get real brazen and come right up to us, and you'd come out and you poked her a few times, I think, didn't you?
I never got to touch
Or
her.
came close. Oh, okay.
Yeah, came close.
God, dude, she would not leave us alone.
Yeah, I think the worst part about that entire dive was it went from super clear, the most clear water we'd ever been in, and we were super
Yeah.
stoked because I don't remember if it was the uku that I saw her, and then I shot the uku, and then the Rainbow Wonder was before that. So we went from super clear water to murky shit, and that's when it became
Yeah.
really difficult because you were towing that line, and it was like a 50-foot
Oh,
line,
that's right.
and I'm hanging around
Yeah.
the buoy, swimming with it because
Oh,
she's
that's
coming
right.
in and out of the murk, like from
Yeah.
different directions because she would leave my sight into the murkiness and then come in somewhere else, and I was just like, oh, so stressful, dude. I had the
Wasn't there
biggest
like
headache after that.
a mud curtain? Oh yeah, I was exhausted. But didn't we
Yeah.
have a mud curtain that we were? Yeah, okay. Yeah, so we had this
I couldn't.
wall of clear crystal blue water
Mhm.
and a wall of mud, and fish were swimming in and out of it. It was a cool sight to see, but it got murky quick. Yeah, it was nuts.
Yeah, unless one
But
of
yeah,
those
so we were
fish were a
swimming
shark.
in.
Yeah,
Are you gonna? Yeah, it's. I mean, I'm surprised we never got bit, to be honest, because
Yeah.
we would try to feed them, but I remember us kicking in, and then she left us alone after like 100 yards from the beach. At least I
Yeah.
thought. So then
It was,
we're
yeah.
swimming
I
in,
thought we were
and
home free.
yeah, 4 feet, 3 feet of water. I'm slowly kicking off my gear. I got the freaking cooey of fish right behind me, and then you
Hmm.
come out of the water. Yeah, you were out of the water,
I was out
and
of the
then we're in
water
like eight
first. Yeah.
inches of water, and then you're like, oh, and then she's like right behind me. Oh
Yeah.
man, that was
Like, Luke,
insane.
watch out.
Yeah.
She got the tail fin
What?
out of the water. I'm like, oh no, watch out. She's trying to get those
Yeah,
fish
and then
still, man.
yeah, the fish were right there, and then we took it to the lifeguard, and the lifeguard's like, yeah, let me see what you caught. Like, screw the shark. Let's see what you caught. It's a big fish.
Yeah.
We almost died.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We thought we did. I'm sure it wouldn't have bothered us really. It just wanted the fish.
You're probably, I mean, it was small, but let's just jump into real quick the big one, the one that popped up out of nowhere when you're trying to get that uhu, because that was
That's the
gnarly.
one that I thought we were talking about, that big mama.
Oh yeah, that was
So
was that
what is
Koloa
that boat
Landing?
launch called? Koloa
Koloa
Landing. That's
Landing.
right.
Yeah,
And we went
I know what
pretty
you're talking
far,
about
but
now.
we didn't go as far as Taverns or Taverns. What's that place called?
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. I don't know what it's called, but let's call it taverns, whatever.
Yeah, we
That
didn't
big
go
cave
that far,
system. I
but
thought we
I
had. Oh, we didn't that day.
not that day. No.
Okay.
The first time we went out there was on our kayaks. We found it.
Oh man, those kayaks. That was awesome.
Hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, that was cool.
So yeah, I got the video of shooting that uhu somewhere. I might even have it on Instagram. But saw this nice uhu from the top. I went down.
It was
I was
nice.
hiding and dusting, and I remember it's with my wooden rife. So I'm like coming over. I got the rife in the camera shot. I pull the trigger as it's coming across, and I nail it like right in the body, center mass, and the thing goes right underneath a big rock. So I go to the surface, recover, I come back down, and I pull her out, or I pull him. That was a blue one. I pull him out, and he's fussing. So I try to get a hold of it, and right when I got a hold of it, and it stops fussing. I look up, and there's just this big mama right there, just
Huge.
like, oh, I was like,
Oh,
oh shit. And then
she was
as
right
on the
next
way
to you.
up, oh, dude, yeah, on the way up, I was holding it and it fought and slipped out of my hands again because I was more focused on like whether or not the shark was gonna come in, not focused on getting my hand in the gills or what, hanging on to it. And so I get to the surface and I got the uhu on the line and I'm like slowly pulling. I'm just super nervous because it's the biggest shark I ever seen. And she comes up one time and you come down with the end of your spear gun and you are like gonna poke her, and so she veers off, and then she starts coming up again and you do the same thing, and then when you get back to the surface you're like, pull it up. I'm like, oh, okay. Okay, it's fine. Everything's fine. So I was just scared
Everything's
because
fine.
I thought that
I got
she's
this.
going for the fish. If I'm holding the
Oh
fish, like
yeah.
she's coming for me. So I was like, he's probably right. So just pull it up. And at that time, my coolie was that big hook that you kind of like a carabiner. You open it up on one
Oh
side, put
yeah.
the on
That's
and
right.
close it. Yeah, and that was
Which I
on my
like
hip.
those. Yeah.
I do like them as long
Oh,
as
but it's
they're on
on
a
your
buoy.
hip.
Yeah, we
Yeah,
didn't have
on
a
your hip.
buoy
We
at that
stopped doing
time.
that early on. That's right.
That was the
Yeah.
last time I wanted to ever do that. And
Oh, that was
that
smart. Yeah.
swim back was a long swim back because that's the farthest I remember us going to low landing before taverns.
Oh, that's right. I do remember because we rode the shore the entire time, but it took us forever to get back. I do
And I
remember
think it
that.
was against current too.
Oh yeah, I think you're right.
Yeah,
And I think at one point we lost her. She veered off, but then she came
yeah,
back. Like,
yeah. She was following us the
just
whole
kidding.
time. Yeah, yeah.
Golly, yeah, that was a huge shark. It was huge. That was a good
Hmm.
one. Yeah. Let's jump ahead real quick to us camping because I think hunting too, where we were on the cliff face, and then we got to
Oh
talk about
man.
hell. Let's talk about hell. Okay, so we were hunting in this unit for goat and pig. Yeah, we saw pig up there. We see a lot of pig
Yeah,
up there.
yeah.
And there's a river like a mile and a half down. And I remember at one point we had said, oh, I wonder what it'd be like to go down there, I think.
I think
And
you said that, and I was looking at you like you were crazy as always.
yeah, but oh man, it ended up being a place called Hell that we love going to. Maybe not the way to
Yeah,
Hell, but once you're in Hell, it's amazing down there. It's so
yeah,
awesome.
yeah. It is. It is. You always found those
Uh,
spots. Always.
oh, it was. But what's funny is that remember our first camping trip on the way to Hell, we froze our asses off.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I'm
Yeah.
actually. I kid you not. I'm wearing that sweater that I wrapped that rock in.
Oh,
That
that's
has the imprint, the melted imprint of that rock.
that's so we heated rocks because it was so. Was that the first day or we did the second day, huh?
The second. Yeah.
Yeah, because we froze our asses off the first day and we thought we're not going
hmm
to do that again. So we
hmm
heated rocks and then we hugged them and put them on our feet, and it was so hot that it melted your sweater.
hmm
Just to give some context, but yeah, it was a great trip. Don't get me wrong, it was fun, man. That river is amazing.
Did we
Um,
even come out of there with anything that time?
I don't even recall. I don't know. I want.
I don't think we
Oof,
did.
I don't know. I don't know. We've been down there so many times that it's hard to say because we usually go down there and get something. I would say it's like 90% of the time.
I remember we saw a lot. I don't remember shooting
Yeah,
anything
we
that
did see a
time.
lot. But I remember it wasn't that trip down there. It was like prior to that. We were just looking for a place to camp, and it was getting dark, and we were on the cliff face above the tree line, and then you were like,
Yeah.
"Oh, I'll let you tell the story because you actually tell it really well."
Ah, okay, well, I'm embarrassed that you said that because I don't remember a whole lot. I just remember
Oh,
being like scooting across this cliffside, and the whole time I'm like, why didn't we just go up the way that we came down?
boring.
Yeah, yeah. And I don't remember how did we even get up on that side of the cliff? Were we
We
supposed to
were
wrap
coming.
around the bottom and come up the other side?
I think we wanted. There was a creek, a dry creek down at the base of this cliff, and so
Okay.
we had actually chased some goat down there earlier that day or earlier in another trip, and so
That's
we
that is when I shot
found
my
there.
first goat.
I think so, yeah. But that was
Yeah.
later, right? That was the next day. I think once
Mm-mm.
we made
We
it.
didn't camp that day.
Oh, we didn't camp.
That okay, so hell is going down to the right side and going down the stairs. We went to the
Yeah,
left side.
we went
Yeah,
to the
and
left.
we didn't.
I thought we
Yeah,
camped
we
at that
didn't
dry
camp that.
riverbed.
Mm-mm.
Oh, okay, because I remembered like we saw goats. There's that little transition, that little saddle.
hmm
And so we took that saddle down the side of the cliff face, and then it was getting dark, and
Yeah,
it was dark time when that boulder dislodged, right? Like we had headlamps on, I think.
yeah, yeah. When we were on the cliff, or we were on the side
Yeah,
of the cliff. Yeah,
yeah.
it was dark.
So, okay, yeah. So we're scooting along this face of this cliff, working our way down, and then what happened? Yeah,
And then, did I almost die or did you almost die? I think I almost
you,
died.
yeah.
Yeah, I
All of a
almost
sudden, I
died.
hear,
Yeah,
oh.
because I think it was the rock that my butt was trying to scoot past had slipped, or something that I was holding on to slipped, and I was going down. And I don't
Oh
know
my
how far it was
gosh.
down. It was, I don't know. It
At
was
least
dark.
50 feet.
I was just looking. The closest thing to me as reference was the top of a tree, a very
Yeah,
big
tops of the
tree.
trees.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, this thing starts slipping, and I'm like, oh, oh no! And Luca, I can hear him scooting across all the rocks, getting to me.
Uh-oh.
Ah! And then he holds onto my stomach and pushes me back up
One
against the
sec,
wall.
let me
Oh, thank God! Oh my gosh, I almost freaking died. I
shoot.
can't believe we're here.
My internet just cut out.
It was awesome.
Well, that's it, folks. Thanks for stopping by. Make sure to check out the show notes. As always, let's give them something to smile about, and we'll see you guys next week.